All right, and we are live. Happy Friday, everybody. Going to give some folks a few minutes to file in here today. I see we already have one person joining us from the audience here. We have Gene, Paul, Andrea joining us on YouTube. Thanks so much for tuning in. And look, just like that, we got a bunch of people filing in here. Very excited to be doing this live stream here today. Let me click go live on Instagram as well, because that operates a little bit differently. Sweet. So we are now live on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, wherever you're tuning in from. Really nice to have you join us here today. My name is Sam Chalbowski, one of the co-founders here at LaunchBay. And in this week's product update live stream, I have a bunch of fun new stuff to show you. We'll talk a little bit about that here in just a second. But also, as a reminder, like, these live streams are for you. If there's something you want to know, some general question you have about LaunchBay, if you want to ask, hey, Sam, like, how would I set up a workflow to do X, Y, Z? Let me know. Pop that in as a comment. I'll be sure to go ahead and answer those throughout this stream. As specific as you want to be, if you want, if it is just something you're interested in for your business, great. I have some stuff I'll cover here today, some product updates from this week, but it doesn't stop there. I do these live streams, like I said, for you all. So if there's things you want to know, as one of the co-founders, I've been here since the very beginning. I can answer anything. We'll give it just another minute or two, let folks file in before we get into the meat of things here. But yeah, just wanted to know, where's everybody joining us from today? I always love finding out the various places around the world people tune into these live streams. Also see we have Lauren joining us. Hello and happy Friday. Happy Friday to you as well, Lauren. Great to have you with us here again. Lauren and our team I know are longtime customers of LaunchBay. I have a great case study that Lauren was kind enough to do about how their team uses it, if you want to go to our website and check that out. But with that, let's go ahead. I see we have a couple dozen people here joining us across the platforms. So let's get into it and let's discuss what we have shipped this week here at LaunchBay. And I see Gene, Paul, I never know how to pronounce people like when I see their YouTube phrases, so you have to bear with me. But I see we have either John or Gene joining us from Miami. Sorry if I'm pronouncing the name wrong there. I have to look at like the YouTube handle sometimes when people are joining us from there. So apologize if I said that wrong. But yeah, let's go ahead. Let's dive into it. And this week was a fun one for us. We've just been moving at like lightning speed here at LaunchBay, shipping new updates every single week and really big ones at that. I kind of mentioned it last week, but last week I actually didn't plan to do a live stream. I just decided, hey, at the beginning of the week, I'm going to do this because we have so much cool stuff to cover. And I will talk a little bit about what we shipped the previous week here when we look at the changelog. So let's go ahead. Let's hop into things here. I'm just going to pull up my screen quick. So this is the LaunchBay changelog. If you haven't checked this out, I would encourage you to do so. When we ship an update, this gets updated by me within like an hour of us releasing something. I had an email from somebody last week saying that they couldn't watch the whole live stream or didn't want to watch it, wanted a faster way to find out what we shipped. This is the place you'll want to go. On this page, and I'll share this in the chat here really quick. This is where you can find any of the updates that we've shipped over the past week. So go ahead and check that out. But let's go ahead. Let's first take a look at what we have shipped this week. So what we're going to be talking about today, what I'll be demoing in between any other questions you might have about LaunchBay, is we've done a complete overhaul to our contract editor. I'm going to talk a little bit more once we get into it about like why we decided to rebuild our contract editor, because it pertains to some stuff that we're going to be doing that's pretty cool, some pretty cool updates we have planned in the future. But I'll show you how this just makes it so easy to map custom fields to contracts and just set up really automated, streamlined way of working when it comes to client contracts. So with that, we've also shipped this week custom favicons. So this is going to be one that you'll have access to if you are on a plan that includes our full white label functionality. If you don't have this, if you're interested in this after the live stream, send a message to our team. We'll be happy to talk about getting you upgraded, getting you access to some of those features. But this is really cool because now you can show a custom favicon within your client portals. So nice improvement there. We've also shipped proof approvals in the task builder. This is going to be something that's a little bit harder to describe until you see it in action. But basically what we've done, we've built in proof approval. So the status of like a file you send for a client to leave feedback on, that now lives inside of the task builder as well. So you can quickly see, like, if you have to upload another version of something, what version you're on, what's been approved, what needs changes. We've also redesigned the task filters here. This one is, really more of a UI update than anything, but I will show you this just to give you some insights on it. This week also includes a ton of different, like, smaller improvements and bug fixes. If you're watching this live stream here today, I'm not going to cover any of these like in detail unless you want to learn more about them. But pop up that change log that I shared the link to. And if you do want to learn more about any of these things, feel free to bring it up right in the chat. I'll tell you all about it. And then in the weeks past, we shipped a bunch of stuff. This was that mega update I was talking about that we shipped last week with our new native Slack integration, a smoother, faster way to add files to tasks from a library, as well as target completion dates. So you can show people things like milestones. So you can give your clients an idea of like when a specific stage will be completed. And then a new time tracking stopwatch. So you don't have to log time manually. You can just click a button, log time. You or your team can submit that time and then invoice for it accordingly. All within the LaunchBay platform without navigating to different tabs. And then we also, this is something that I covered last week again. So just want to make sure, like, if there are any questions about it, let me know. We released a native HubSpot integration at the end of March. And if that's something you're interested in using, you're interested in finding out more about, let me know. Happy to show you that. But then I'm happy to cover anything else you might want to know. If you have questions about something like Zapier or any of the other product updates we have planned, I'm here to answer those questions. Another benefit too that you get with joining these streams live and in real time is that you are going to have the opportunity, if there's like a feature that, hey, would be really helpful to have, something maybe you thought is missing that would be really useful to your workflow, write in, let me know, and I'll be happy to talk more about that and log that information for our team here. So let's go ahead and get into our first big thing that we've shipped this week, which is our new and improved contract editor. So before diving in, I'll talk a little bit about why we made this update in the first place. So with our previous version of the contract builder, so basically how you set up contracts, how you control what fields, what information you collect through contracts in LaunchBay. With our previous version of that, the way that it worked, it had a couple of limitations we just didn't really love. And we decided to rebuild it from scratch. Originally, it was kind of a third-party interface we were using for that. And our developer, our team member of ours, Josh, took it upon himself to rebuild this thing from the ground up. And it looks great now. It's really cool. It's really streamlined. But what's even better is that it's totally ours. So there's a lot more that we're going to be doing with it. Things like offering calculation fields. So if you want to do something like a quiz, or you want to calculate like how much a proposal is going to cost if you're using our contract editor to build out proposals, those are all things that are going to be coming. And then additional automation options for contracts is something we'll also be able to do with this improved and completely redesigned contract editor. So without further ado, let me go ahead. I'm going to pop into my account here and show you how this works. Let me move this banner out of the way. Don't need that anymore. It's kind of just in the way. And I'm going to hop into my LaunchBay account here. So here in my LaunchBay account, this is probably an account you've seen a couple of times before. If you've joined our live streams in the past, I'm going to go ahead and let me move my face here to the other side of the screen. I'm going to pop into my contracts tab. So right here under resources, this is where you manage and set up contracts in LaunchBay. So I'm going to jump in here and let's set up a new contract. Something important to note about our improved and redesigned contract editor is that you're only going to be able to use it, unfortunately, with new contracts, just to avoid any disruption with people's current workflows. It's just something we had to do. So I have a PDF that I've prepared here. So let me go ahead and I'm going to create a new contract. And to do this, I'll just drag my contract in here. And if you haven't seen this functionality before, it's really cool. Basically, if you have a PDF that you use, a document, we have really like feature parity with something like a DocuSign, where you can upload your document, go ahead, map the fields accordingly. And here's our new contract builder. So once you upload that file, this is what it's going to look like. So with our redesigned builder here, you'll have access to many of the same fields that you had, actually all of the same fields you had previously. But this is going to offer a much more streamlined experience. So let me just go ahead. I'm going to change this from service agreement. I'm just going to call this scope of work and start configuring my fields. So something important to note is that by default, you'll have this client field. If you do need to add additional fields, all you got to do is click the plus. So if you have team members, managers, whoever else might need to countersign a contract, you can go ahead and add them. You can add as many people as you would like to a contract. And you'll see that there's two roles. There's a client role and a team role. And this is what you use for basically configuring who signs a contract when, because with LaunchBay, there is a client side, there is a team member side. So I'm going to quickly set up this team member role. Just gave it the quick name of team. Add that. But if you do have instances where you have, even more people signing a contract, you can, of course, add a role. So for example, if you had two clients that typically need to sign a document, you could add client 2, set that up. For this example, I'm just going to leave things nice and simple and have just a client and a team role because we only need 2 people to sign this. So now that this is good to go, let me go ahead and let's start adding the fields. And actually, before I do this, I'm also going to toggle on signing order. This is something really useful in your contracts because it allows you to specify who signs first and then who signs second. In my case, I always want the client to sign first just because, we're not going to waste our time signing something if the client never does it. But hopefully that should be few and far between because LaunchBay is going to automatically remind them to do this contract. But I'm going to toggle on signing order. So client's going first. Our team is going to go second. So now let me go ahead and start dragging some stuff in here. So I'm going to add a date field. This will just be when the, today's date, basically the date that the client is signing. Next, I'm going to include a text box for the client's business name. And I'm also going to include a text box for the client's business address. And I'm not going to get too much into the weeds here of like configuring these yet. I want to add all of my fields. I'm going to add some labels and some ways to auto-populate these contracts in just a second, but I want to get this built out. And I actually realized that this should be the client. There should also be a client field here. And for this date field, I'm also going to set this to just use the signing date there. So that'll auto-populate. And great. So now that these are set up, let's scroll all the way to the bottom. I'm going to quickly add a signature field for our team. So my team here is Acme Automation. This is like this sample account that I use. I'm going to add a signee name as well for Acme Automation, which is so this would be me signing the contract. as the owner of Acme Automation. I'll also add a date field. Once again, for this date field, I'm going to use this really cool new piece of functionality we have where I'm going to set this to use the signing date. And then with the client, for the client signee information, I'm going to toggle back to the client role, rinse and repeat this exact same process. So I'll do signature. Great. Add that date field in here. Beautiful. And then lastly, we will add the client signee name. So this is all kind of functionality you've probably seen before. It's all kind of standard stuff in a contract editor. But now we're going to get into the really sort of powerful parts of our contract editor and what makes it unique, which is auto-populating the client's information as well as the team information, so you don't have to do this stuff manually. And I also see we have our first question that has come in. Love to see it. Do new contracts still send sign notifications to every member every time another member signs when no sign order is on? Yeah, so this would send they would get notifications, I believe. This is something I will say that actually, Lauren, I have to check after this live stream. Basically, the way that I understand it, and bear with me, I will go double check this after the stream. I can send you an email. But I believe that everybody who's assigned to the task, they will get a notification just as any other thing. So I'm also going to show you the process of adding these to a task, basically assigning people. But yeah, anybody who's assigned to the task would get notifications. Anybody who wasn't on the task, so who didn't have a role in that contract, they wouldn't receive that. So hopefully that answered your question. All right. So now we have all of these various fields set up. Before I get into what it looks like to auto-populate stuff, I also want to just point out one other thing that we've added to this. I'm not going to use this in the project, but within the text field now, we do have this option where you can enter text into a text field. Instead of having this be fillable, I could enter something like contract amount $4,500. So if I wanted to, this is useful if you have contracts that you often change with just text information. You don't want it to be a fillable field, but you want to just enter the text into the contract. You can now do that. The way that you do that, once again, you drag a text field here into the contract, and then under enter text, just write the text that you want to appear each time. So I'm going to delete that because I'm not going to use that in this example, but kind of a cool thing that you are able to do now with with this builder. So I've taken care of the signing date to auto-populate, but now I have a field. I have fields up at the top here for the client's name as well as the client's address. So for this first text field, I'm going to add a label to this. But then what I'm also going to do here is under auto population, I'm going to add, and actually let's change this. This is supposed to be the client's name. I just realized. I'm going to add this field for the client role's name. So what this is doing and what this is going to do every time I use this contract and I send it off in a task is it's going to auto populate the system default field of the client role. So the client role is basically going to be that first person that you add to the project. And what we're able to do here is automatically pull in the client's name into the contract so they don't have to enter that manually. What you see here under projects and signers, these are all our system default fields. So these are populated automatically for you every time you create a new project. Under custom fields, these are things that you can set up to fill automatically. So that looks good. I'm going to go ahead and click save. Next, I have a space for the client's business address. What I've done in my LaunchBay account is I've also added a custom field for business address in here. And what I do in this way that I have my LaunchBay account set up is when a new deal is closed won in HubSpot, what I do is I have this, I have our HubSpot integration automatically set up to pull in information like the client's business address, like the package they signed up for, all good stuff from that. So it pulls that from HubSpot, populates it as a custom field in LaunchBay. And that custom field for the business address I pull in is going to automatically populate in each contract I send in a way that's unique to each client. So that's all good to go. Next, let's go back down here to the bottom. And I'm just going to rinse and repeat a very, very similar process here. For the team name, I want this to auto-populate the team names role. So this is going to populate me, who's the project owner of each project I have this contract in. So it's going to add my name, Sam Chalbowski, automatically. And that's good to go. Signature, I will leave as is because that's something I'm going to have to just enter in every time. So no need to worry about any type of auto population there. And then for the client signee, I'll do the exact same thing I did before, where I'll select the client role's name. And I'm going to just title this client lead name. And we are good to go. So a quick recap for what we did. I added some fields to my contract and I mapped all of those fields, except for the signature fields, to auto-populate information. So this is going to be really, really useful. And it's a really streamlined way of setting this up, especially when you have contracts that might contain, potentially dozens of fields. No need to make the client fill that out again and again. The way that our contract builder works is you can auto-populate those types of information from the stuff that you already have. So it's a really big benefit to the way that LaunchBay works and helps remove friction, especially at that first critical touch point of getting the client to sign on the dotted line. Previously, setting up custom fields in LaunchBay was honestly kind of a pain. You had to copy paste IDs. You had to customize IDs if you were reusing them across projects. All of that is thrown out the window. All you have to do to populate client information in a contract is you just click and then select it from this auto population dropdown. So super smooth, super slick. I'll tell you, I was setting up actually a lot of sample projects for my own work here, some work I was doing on our website, like adding screenshots and stuff like that. And setting up contracts, I just found to be such a streamlined process. It made the process of setting up and deploying a bunch of these new web pages so much faster, especially when I had to grab these types of screenshots. So any questions about that? Is there any ideas, anything you want to know that this sparked? Please let me know. We're really happy with this redesigned contract builder. It makes it so much easier. And it's something that we're going to be continuing to improve upon. You'll also notice too, there's a couple of fields I didn't use here, just worth pointing out quickly. There's a select box. So if you want different options like package 1, and then you could do package 2, so on and so forth. That select box will allow them to basically toggle between different options. We also have options for initials. So if you just want your client to enter their initials, this will prompt them to do so. Makes it really easy for them to autofill that. And then there's a checkbox too. If it's things like disclaimers, or you have things like a privacy policy where you need clients to check a box, the checkbox option will allow you to do so. So that's really contracts in a nutshell. It's as simple as that. After you click Save Template, you'd be able to use this in any type of project. And I'll just show you, just in case you are new to LaunchBay, you haven't used contracts before, using your contract template in a project template is dead simple. All you got to do, so I have this manage IT services template I've set up. Let me just go ahead and I am going to add a new task here for the client to sign the scope of work agreement. I'm going to set this to a portal task because this is something that the client's going to do. And then I will click, I'm going to assign also myself to the task. And this is what I was talking about earlier to one of the questions in the chat, where basically anybody who's on this task will get a notification about it. If you're not, though, no need to worry. It's just going to apply to the people who've been assigned to this. So I'll grab that scope of work agreement you saw me fill out, select myself to fill out the team fields. A quick note when setting up contracts in a template, you can't add clients to project templates. You can only add them once a project is created. So when you attach the contract, don't be surprised that this client field is going to be sort of grayed out because you can set this to auto assign basically as soon as the project is created. So let me go ahead. I'll save that. And we're all good to go here. So this contract is added to a task. I can reuse this. And then every time I create a project from this template, LaunchBay is going to go ahead and include this as a part of the project. So very easy to set up, very easy to use. And yeah, would love to know, have you tried the new contract editor? Is it something that you have found useful? Let me know in the chat. Or if you have any questions. I mentioned a couple of things in there, like our HubSpot integration. If you want to learn more about that, write in, let me know. I'm here for you for this whole hour. And if the questions roll in, I will just keep going. So don't be afraid to ask away. All right, with that, let's go ahead and get into our next big thing that we've released this week, which is custom favicons for your client portals. And I'm also going to take this opportunity to just speak briefly about some of the improvements we've made to client portals in general. Just take a sip of water here. So one of the things that we just added this week, this was highly, highly requested by some of our users who have the full white label functionality, where you can have a custom domain, a custom email, and really just take full control over your portal branding. But we've added support for custom favicons, and it's dead simple to set up. This will take me like just a minute to show you. The way that you can set up custom favicons, if you have it enabled on your plan, is you're just going to go down to here into your account settings under team, and admins as well as managers will have access to this. But if you are assigned to the team member role, you won't. And then under the branding tab of your account settings, you'll see this new box for favicon. And what you can do is just click the edit button. The recommended size for this is 32 by 32. I believe that the favicon I have actually here is 64 by 64. And I just realized that I should have grabbed a transparent version of that. Let me just do that here really quick. Looks a little bit better if you have this as a transparent PNG. So I'm going to drop that in once again. Sweet. Okay. And after I click Save Changes, I can go into a project here. And I'm just going to, this is the way that there's a couple of different ways to like preview portals in LaunchBay. You can click this preview portal button here up at the top. For this, in order to show you the custom favicon, I am going to just copy this link here, the magic link, the login list link that allows clients to access their portal. And I'm going to pull it up in an incognito window just so we can show you what this is going to look like. And I realized that I'll have to share my entire screen here because you won't be able to see the favicon if I just share a window here. So let me go ahead, share screen, share my entire screen here. Okay. So cool. You should now be able to see this. I have, oops, nope, just kidding. You can't. I have up at the top here this new custom favicon. Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay. And that's a part of my client portal. So this is exactly what my client's going to see when they go ahead and log in. Custom favicon right up at the top here. With that, I also want to take a moment just to talk very briefly, and let's go ahead, stop this share, and I'll reshare just a tab because that gets a little messy. I'm sure you saw like the 400 windows, like the screen within a screen within a screen. So let me go ahead and just reshare a specific window here, which is going to be our client portal. Now that you got a chance to see what that favicon looks like. So with that, with our client portals, we've made a ton of improvements to these, just the way they look overall, carrying through more of your brand to the portal. These are updates that we released just over a month ago. It was a big overhaul for us. And I'm absolutely loving the way that our client portals look now. If you are working with the client that has multiple projects, this example you see here, this is just a client who has one project with us. But if you had multiple, they would show up here. There's a new activity sidebar. So clients can see, hey, what are all the things that are going on within this project? They can see recently completed tasks, messages that are sent, tasks that have been activated, really everything that's been happening within their portal. We've also redesigned a couple of key pages here. Our welcome page, which provides a complete overview, now highlights the team who's working on the project. Up here, clients can hide or show that, as well as the files area. This is really, as well as the messages area. This is really cool because as files are uploaded into a chat, and I can even just show you an example of this here. As files are uploaded into a chat, the client can go ahead and have quick access to this. So I'll just upload this service agreement to the chat as I'm impersonating the client here. Just give you a cool idea of what that looks like. So I go ahead, send that. And then once we refresh, just because it takes a second for that to upload, the files that have been uploaded throughout a chat are included right here, ready to access for the client. So that does it for that one. Once again, any questions, please let me know. We're excited to ship this. It's something I know a couple of our users have been asking about for a while. So really cool and really streamlined update there. Next up on our list here today, we have redesigned some of the task filters in Launch Bay. And I'm going to show you where these are. So a couple of weeks ago, we did a big overhaul to how you can filter different projects from your project's dashboard in Launch Bay. And this week, we've extended some of those designs, some of those UI improvements to the all tasks page, as well as the pages within individual projects. Before we had this, it was really the task page that the filter that we had before. It was a little bit messy. It wasn't like really ideal with the way that you could set up filters and use them in the all tasks page, as well as within individual projects. So we've done a really nice design improvement there. And I'll just pop into my account. This is kind of a quick one, but I'll show you how it works or what it looks like here. So on the all projects page, and this is something I think would be helpful just to circle back on in case you missed it. You can now set up saved filters here by clicking to set up a filter. You have all of these different filter options, filtering by templates, by project owners, active stages, tags. One of the things we've also done is that in a previous update, these filters were meaning that you could only select, they were where you could only select, like, for example, the brand redesign tag and the CRM implementation tag. Now you can select as many tags as you would like together and save a filter for this. So let's say if I wanted to create a filter where I wanted all CRM implementation projects that needed follow-up. I could set up a quick filter for that. Save this CRM projects needs follow-up. And if this is something that I was using every day, I could go ahead and save this. And when I logged in that day, sweet, go ahead, pop in here, select my filter, and there it is. So this filter sidebar, we've now extended to our all tasks page, which you can access just under templates here. in the left-hand sidebar, as well as we extended it to the tasks page within your individual projects. So you now have this filter that you're able to use that provides that sort of familiar experience. And the reason why we've done this is we're going to be extending the ability to have saved filters to this all tasks page, especially first. But the first thing we did before we could deploy that ability to have saved filters on the all tasks page is we had to redesign this sidebar to make sure that it could work. So a nice UI improvement, but lays the foundation for another big update we're going to be deploying here in just a couple of weeks or so. If you're not familiar with this all tasks page, this is a really great way to sort and organize work that you specifically are responsible for across your projects. After our message center, I kind of look at this as like the next page that if I was a team member, I would be using every single day, where I'd pop into messages, see what I had to respond to, and then pop into my all tasks page and look at what tasks I had to do today. So for this example, I'm going to set up a quick filter where I want tasks that are assigned to me that are active. And I also want to see that they are due this week. So if there's anything that I could get a head start on, I could set up a filter. And it looks like I don't actually have any tasks that are due today. But let's just say, I want to do overdue as well. Sweet. I could come into Launchbase, see what tasks here were overdue, what I needed to do and knock out. So in this example, it looks like with this Larry's Laundry project, I actually have not countersigned this contract yet. So I could pop in, go ahead and sign this, and then that would be all taken care of. So nice little improvement there. While I was talking about it, I also wanted to draw attention to our message center. This is something I don't think I've talked about for a couple of weeks here. That is a really, really powerful and helpful aspect of Motion.io. So in the message center, what you will see is every single message sent across all of your projects. And it operates in a way that is similar to maybe something like a help desk software, but it's actually going to be more specific to client work and getting stuff done, and not just like managing tickets. It's going to be directly related to the work that you're doing for clients. So in this example, I have a couple of messages here where you can see even like what files are approved, what needs to be done in a task. And let's say if this was a task where the client wanted us to review some new creative and they didn't like any of the designs, they wanted us to basically completely overhaul some of that creative we had sent them. One of the really cool things that you can do, you might have missed in LaunchBay, is that you can actually create tasks directly from the messages that have been sent to you. And so why does this matter? Well, the really cool thing about this is that instead of it avoids this common situation that I know when I've been responsible for client deliverables, if anybody doesn't know, I came from the agency space before this. So I was often doing websites for clients, doing design work. One of the things that always frustrated me is you'd have to take something that was sent to you by email, put it back into a project management tool for tracking, making sure you copied over the details. With Launchbay's Message Center, what you can do is you can actually create a task directly from the messages clients send you, attaching files, assigning them, and you don't have to bounce back and forth between tools. Nope, you can just go ahead and create a task right there. And the way that you do that, just to zoom in case you missed it, is on any message, you just click create a task from this message. And you're able to have that task created in a matter of seconds without navigating away to another platform, without losing context about the work that you're doing. Another cool thing to call out about the message center is as you're responding to things in here, you actually have the ability to open tasks directly from the message center. So I can see here that this was a task for our client to review some new creative. Up in the top right corner, I can click open task and I can very quickly see, oh, sweet. Okay, Both of these new pieces of creative we sent them, they've been approved. This is good to go. These changes were made. Everything is on track. And then finally, I'll point out that within Launchpad, you do have the ability to assign people to messages. So for example, if this client, Colin here, he sent us a message about scheduling their on-site assessment. Let's say I wanted somebody else on my team to respond to this, even though Colin tagged me. I could go ahead and assign this. I'll assign this to Jenny Jacob. And you can see it right here. Jenny's been assigned. And then I could even send a private message to Jenny and say, hey, Jenny, can you handle coordinating a specific time for our on-site assessment? And then Jenny would, oops, spelled assessment wrong. And then Jenny would get a notification. All of this can live in the same chat, and it's totally hidden from the client. So I can loop Jenny in here, but this is a team-only message, so we're able to safely collaborate privately without anybody else seeing that. So kind of an unexpected thing that I wanted to cover, but thought it would just be cool to share here about, just another feature that you might have missed in Launch Bay that I think can be helpful to see. So with that, we have about 15 minutes left. I would love to know, how have you been using Launch Bay? What have you been using it for? Are there new workflows that you have added? And then finally, is there any way that I can help? Anything that I can show you here today that would help you get more value out of the tool that we've built? Since day one, like I have nothing but passion. All I want for everybody is to use this tool to our full capabilities, whether you're just getting started, whether you've been a long-time user. So I'm an open book. Go ahead, ask away. But I do have a couple more things that I can show you if no one has other specific things that you'd like to see today. One of the things that I think would be cool to circle back on here, and something we actually did just deploy a fix for this week, is Launchbay's Slack integration. So we just released this last week. This is really cool. What it allows you to do is very quickly set up notifications to send to a specific Slack channel. We have some planned improvements for our Slack integration that are going to allow you to do even more with this. But in the meantime, it introduces a very important piece of functionality where when something happens when a project stage is completed, you can get automatic notifications in a specific Slack channel that you specify. So the way that you set this up, if you haven't done so already, I'll pull up my account here. The way that you set this up is you go ahead into your account settings, and on the integrations tab, you'll see a number of different integrations that we have. We're going to be adding even more here in the future, but all you got to do is pop in, click Slack, and you'll see I've already connected my account, but you would just click a button here that says connect, and then specify the channel you want to update. And then you're going to get updates every time a stage is completed, so long as in your project you have activated this option, which allows you to get notifications. So you just toggle that on, boom, good to go. Now I'll get updates every time or when this discovery and assessment stage is completed. See, Lauren has a question here in the audience. Let's go ahead and answer this. Something I haven't been able to figure out yet is how to send recorded meetings either from Google Gemini or Gong to project notes with AI summaries with an automation through Zapier. Yeah, absolutely. I can tell you exactly how to do that. And I see that Lauren provided a little bit more additional context. Is there a way to tell the automation which account to drop them in based on the meeting or account title? Yes, so there absolutely is. I'm going to leave this comment up here on the screen, but let me show you a workflow that I have. I'll just need to find it really quick. But I have a workflow that I've set up for this. I think we actually also have a knowledge base article for this. And let me just pull that up here really quick. Send meeting notes. Okay. So we do have this help desk article or a knowledge base article that we've created previously. But let me just show you here in real time, Lauren, how you can do this. Because yeah, you are right. There, part of one of the trickier steps of getting those notes, the project notes into Launchpad via Zapier, is you're gonna have to set up a filter to kind of map the notes to the correct project. So I will go ahead. I just had to search for this here really quick. Aha, I found it here. So now we can show you what this looks like. So I'll pop up my screen here and we'll talk about how to automate the process of sending meeting notes directly to Launchpad. So before I do that, I think it'd be helpful to provide a little bit of context. What are we talking about here when we talk about meeting notes? So within Launchpad and within your individual projects, as well as your templates, you have this section here for notes and meetings. What Lauren's asking about here is she basically wants to send a transcript of a meeting into this meeting section. Because once you do, we have some really cool options. This really cool option to summarize it with AI. So basically, transcript from the meeting gets plopped into here, and then Launchpad can summarize the transcript that you add, as well as automatically suggest different tasks that you might want to create based on the meeting. So if there were action items that were discussed, Launchpad will suggest tasks for you and even pre-create those tasks. So all you have to do is click a button and be able to get those tasks formally activated within your project. To set up a workflow like this, I have this example that I've used previously. And sorry if this isn't exactly what you were asking, but it's really the same thing. It's just, the first step will change depending on what tool you use. So the way that you could set this up via our Zapier integration is you could use a trigger event of a new meeting, a new transcript. And then what you see is down here, we have a task to create a meeting in Launchpad. So for this example, what you would do is you would set up your trigger. And let me see what is in this trigger here. Okay, let me just retest. See if we can find anything new here. And I'm actually just going to change this account. I think I have a good account here for this. So this is Fathom, but this would totally work for Gong or Gemini or whatever else you might be using. So long as they have a new meeting or new transcript or basically the indication that a new meeting happened and it's done and they have information about it. So let's go ahead. Let's test this. Let's see if we can get anything from this. It might just pull the sample. But the way that you would have to do this, Lauren, the key step that you're going to have to set up is just making sure that you have a filter event. So the way that you would do this here, and I don't know if I'll get anything here. Sorry, I didn't have, this was one that I didn't think we'd talk about today, so I didn't have anything prepared. Oh, but we do have some kind of record here. Yeah, it looks like we have a Joey business here. Just kind of a fake test client I created earlier. So what you would do, Lauren, to make sure that the action or the meeting notes end up in the right project, what you would do is you would add Zapier's built-in filter action. So maybe you've tried this already, maybe you haven't, but this is a really quick way to kind of filter and make sure that the right project gets selected. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I will use the meeting invitee's email. And actually, I realize I actually don't even have to do this anymore. Sorry, I was behind the 8 ball here. What you could do instead, so in Launchpad, we now have this cool action. I was going to show you a filter because this is what I had to do before, but I forgot that we added since then this new find project action. So what you could do is, and let me just find my account here. Have a good one. Okay, sweet. So that's my Launchpad account. So what I'll do is between the meeting sent, so the meeting transcript being generated, or the the trigger, whether it's in Gong or Gemini for a new project, what you would do is you'd set up this find project step. And I think for most things that you're going to be doing with meetings, you're going to want to set this to the client email. So as long as that a single client was on this transcript here or on your meeting event, you could map this to the meeting invitee's email and search for that project. Then what this will do is that Launchpay will find the correct project. And in the next step, you can go ahead and map this field in the create meeting to the, and I guess I got to test this here. I don't think it's going to find anything, but let's go ahead just because it's an older Zap that I'd set up for previous testing purposes. But let's see if I can get any sample data in here. Nope, it's not going to pull anything. That's okay. What you would do, I think if I skip test, I can still get this field. What you would do is in the create meeting event, so this one here that you would add, map this to the project ID of the previous step. So in this example, I have my new meeting, I have my find project step, and I would just pull in the ID. And what this is going to do is dynamically add the correct meeting to the correct project every time. So when this fires, when a new meeting happens, this Zap will go ahead and add that information for you. So a really cool workflow to set up. If you haven't tried this step already of like adding the find project step, definitely I would encourage you to test that out. It should work pretty smoothly. If it does not, however, do not hesitate, reach out to us, as well as anybody else in the audience watching. If there are things that you've wanted to do but haven't, you have questions about, don't hesitate to reach out to us even after this stream at hello@launchpay.com. That will show you what to do. And no need to worry about the surprise request there, Lauren. I'm happy to do stuff on the fly. It's very fun for me. The only reason I was apologizing is like, hey, sorry, I'm fumbling around for a minute trying to show you the right thing. But I love those kind of impromptu tasks because I have this deep knowledge of the product. How best to share it with you all live is, the highlight of my week. So love it. Okay. And you'll need to dig around and see if I can work around multiple clients on a project. Maybe a filter would be helpful there. Yeah, it might. One of the things you could also do is like configure it so it's just pulling like the first client on that meeting or something. But adding that find project step should help you, should allow you to do anything that you are looking to do here in the platform. And yeah, got to keep me on my toes. I like it. It's a blast. I used to, we had tried out before I'd switched like this live stream format, more of like a webinar type format. And what I found is that doing it through a live stream is so much more fun, just because it's like people ask different questions and it's like not this set sort of boring agenda every time. We get to have fun with it. And it gets to be, this cool thing that people get to show up for week after week, not only to learn about the new features, but just, get to ask advice and things you want to know from me. So I love doing them. I love taking those kind of impromptu requests. And that's a perfect segue into telling you that we have 5 more minutes here. So if there's anybody, if you've been waiting until now to ask a question, something you want to show me in Launchpay, please go ahead, chime in. I'm all yours. If I have to run over to show you additional things that you want to learn, additional workflows, don't hesitate. I can stay late. I have no problems doing so if I can provide valuable advice. So a couple more things until then, just kind of to circle back on in case you missed them. We've been seeing more and more people use our time tracking functionality in Launchpay ever since we released this new time tracking stopwatch. It's a pretty cool new thing. If you're not familiar with time tracking in Launchpay, the way that you get to it, it takes just a couple of seconds to set up. And the way that you get to that is under, let me move my face over to the other side of the screen here. Under team, you can set up time tracking. You can see all of the stuff going on within your project split up by project. And now what we introduced last week is, let's say, I'm a team member, I'm doing the work, I'm maybe designing some new deliverables, some new creative for a client. What I can do if I wanted to track time, if that was something that we're doing in our organization, I can click on any task and click up in the top left of any task. Go ahead and click this stopwatch icon, and it'll give me the option to start a stopwatch where I can track time in real time. And this is really cool because I don't have to leave Launch Bay. I can see how much time is running, and this will automatically map to the different time tracking parameters that we've set up. So for example, if we're billing $75 an hour for this task, LaunchBay is going to automatically calculate that based on the time that I track. And all I got to do to end this is click log time, select my category. So let's say this was for a CRM implementation project. And this would pull in automatically the hours and minutes that this took. That task that I did only took 28 seconds. So it didn't track anything, but let's be honest, that's like pretty rare for any type of task. Yeah, I don't think you'd be tracking something for just a couple of seconds, but this would fill in automatically. If you had an hour, 30 minutes, go ahead and save that. That'll populate in your time tracking, and then you can invoice that. One of the things that we also decided last week, just to talk very briefly about invoicing, some other things that are coming to the platform. Right now, we have a direct integration with Stripe where you can connect your Stripe account. You can send invoices. You can bill clients for different things as directly as a part of a LaunchBay task. One of the cool things that's coming to the platform in the next couple of weeks is we're really opening it up so that regardless of what payment processor you're using, as long as they provide some kind of link or embed, you can connect invoicing directly to your projects, to your project templates. So something cool that's on the way for us. Another big improvement that we're going to be making here is a big overhaul to our client directory. And this is something we've had a lot of requests for, but it was one of those requests that we really wanted to scope out properly, make sure it was useful, make sure that we were doing all of the right things. So some of the updates you're going to see here, actually, I think our first round is going to be released just next week, next Wednesday. But we're making some big improvements to the client directory, where you'll now have be able to have specific fields associated with the client. So right now it's kind of limited, where you can have just company and see the projects they're on, and then email and phone. But we're going to be able to, you're going to be able to configure these fields for both individual people and companies. Is really the next sort of iteration of our client directory feature. So making it much more like a real CRM, something that you would be used to with a HubSpot or a Pipedrive. And this is also going to enable you to just map information from your CRM into LaunchBay more easily with those fields in place. So we're going to be doing this. I believe this is going to start at the company level, but we might extend this to people in the future, where you can set up these companies and have sort of fields and information that you populate within them that make it really easy to, especially if you have multiple projects, be able to pull in the information you need every time. If you're unfamiliar with this page, definitely would encourage you to check it out. This is also a really great example in this sample account that I have of like what a client directory looks like after you've been using LaunchBay for some time. One of the really cool things that you can do even right now in the directory is you can see a log of all activity, as well as all of the emails that a client has been sent. So if you're ever wondering, hey, was that client sent this specific email? You can click into a specific person and see, oh, okay, here's the emails they've been sent. You actually also get notifications of when they view their portal for the first time, which is really cool. So if I go all the way back in Larry Smith's history here, I'll be able to see a email that he was sent, and I can see activity related to like when he first visited his portal. So there's two tabs here: activity, which show you the things that are going on; email, which shows you the emails that a specific person has been sent. And I can see right here, there's this invite email that was sent all the way back in January, where Larry Smith was invited to collaborate on a project. So he was invited to that portal. And then all through this, I can see the chat messages that have been sent, the tasks that have been completed. So it's a really good way if you need sort of historical records on what a client is doing, what, tasks they've completed. You can see all of that information from the directory. And then in just, another week or two, this is going to become a lot more powerful. So some really cool improvements we have planned there as well. And then finally, this is something that was mentioned on a live stream a couple of times actually in the past couple of weeks, so much so that we actually decided to change our roadmap a bit. But Launch Bay, and this is a really exciting one. This is one I can't share a specific time frame for you, but we are going to be, if you haven't heard yet, we are going to be building our own MCP server. What does that mean? Well, an MCP server is basically how you connect things like Claude or ChatGPT with other tools. So we will have our own way to connect Claude directly to Launch Bay, so you can have a text chat with Claude or whatever LLM you might be using, and then be able to do things in Launch Bay. This is something that I'm personally really excited about. I have been using, so I do, among other things here, these live streams, a bunch of other marketing stuff. I actually have taken on the role really since we first started as being like our impromptu web developer. So, there's times that we hire out for web design work, but if it's stuff that we're like, hey, we need this live in, a couple of days, I'll go ahead, I'll build those pages on our Launch Bay website. I've been using an MCP connector to connect Claude and Webflow a bunch. And it just it has been blowing my mind. It was like one of my first real sort of aha moments with AI was being able to speak directly to Claude, use their MCP connector, so Webflow's MCP connector, and do things in Webflow on the website, like have it actually build pages for me. So that, functionality like that is going to be coming to Launch Bay, which I'm personally really excited about. So with that, that is all the time we have here for today. I will be taking the week off. Next week, I'm going to be out of office on Thursday and Friday in beautiful Santa Monica, California, actually for a wedding that I am the officiant of. So pretty excited for that one. Have my speech prepared and everything, but I will be back the following week. Outside of when I am away for a vacation or whatever, we've returned to doing these live streams every single week, same time, same channels, 10:30 Mountain Time here across YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So with that, everybody, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Friday. It was a great time hanging out with you here today, and we'll go ahead and see you again in another 2 weeks. Take care and have a great weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.